All right. The last one in box number 6. Let's go over this box just in case you forgot. We had the Cold War. We learned a little bit about poker. Right here, the Broken Covenant. Right here, learning that we are a chosen people out of America. Why does popcorn pop? Remember we learned about, do you remember? Do you really remember? I don't think so. We learned about oysters, we learned about lobster, and then we learned about tea. Scientific man, right here, or the scientific and Bible man. Howard Atwood Kelly. Mr. Kelly was a scientist at John Hopkins, but he was also a very religious man and wrote a whole bunch of articles, and boom, turned a little newspaper or a little subscription thing, adding 1,200 new members daily up to 30,000. So just imagine what he was saying. He was basically bridging the gap from being believing in Adam and Eve and also believing in science, and he explained how it works. Then we had the private history of the revelations of the meaning of the world. I'll remind you, we're going to go over the power of the people. Wait, is that this one? So I went through a lot of them. Yep. Remember, private power and public power is, look forward to that look forward to that reading that and making a video and making writing an article. Excuse me. It's been a long day. But yeah, this was pretty interesting. Let's not forget this one. The Broadman Bible Commentary, where we discussed the murder of somebody in the Bible, Jahab, something like that. So, last but most definitely not least, The Way We're Working Isn't Working, by Tony Schwartz. Let's see what he has to say. Okay, a new way of working, more and less and less. We can't change, chapter 2. We can't change what we don't notice. We're creatures of habit, part 2. Sustainability, physical. Feeling the pulse, sleep or die, making waves, use it or lose it. Less is more, chapter 9. Creating a culture that pulses. Section 3, security, emotional. Part 4, self-expression and mental. Part 5, significance and spiritual. The first one that kind of got me was sleep or die. I want to see what he has to say about sleeping. Sleep or die. All right, if physical energy is the foundation of all dimensions of energy, sleep is the foundation of physical energy. Let's read that one more time. If physical energy is the foundation of all dimensions of energy, sleep is the foundation of physical energy. The circadian rhythm refers to the biological process that occur over a 24-hour cycle. We're genetically programmed to be awake during the day and to sleep at night. We operate best physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually when we align with that rhythm. For example, the hormone melatonin, which tends to induce sleep, is almost non-existent in our bodies during daytime hours, and it reaches a peak between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. The same is true for our core body temperature, which reaches its lowest level in the middle of the night and its highest level during the morning. I mean, who is this person? Tony Schwartz. We're gonna keep going. I have my own. I don't 100% agree with this. I I wake up at 2:30 in the morning, and I'm usually burning up inside. It's hot, not cold. We challenge our circadian rhythms at our peril, whether we do so by working during the night, traveling across time zones, or failing to fall asleep sufficiently. The consequences include extreme fatigue, compromised cognitive capability or capacity, emotional instability, lower productivity, and greater susceptibility to illness. Okay, let's see what else he's talking about. Sleep or die. Um, Fatter, dumber, and more dangerous. Right. This is more into sleep or die. Right. Let's see. Overwhelmingly, the sorry, overwhelming evidence suggests that sleep deprivation takes a toll in nearly every aspect of our lives, including performance. In Dream On, Sleep in the 24/7 Society, Charles Leadbeater summed up the cost this way. Lack of sleep makes us more inefficient at work and more dangerous behind the wheel of a car. It undermines the quality of our lives and makes us more vulnerable to illness. It is also responsible for making us less able to respond creativity to problems and opportunities and less original, flexible, and divergent in our thinking, and thus less likely to generate new ideas. At the most basic level, prolonged sleep deprivation has a negative impact on our health. Several studies have shown that immune response drops significantly among people who sleep less than 7 to 8 hours a night. Well, let's see what else he's talking about. I do agree that like sleep deprivation, if you're extremely tired, your immune system is a lot weaker. Because, I mean, that's personally happened to me, but that's because I've been on a 24-hour no sleeping, and I was barely able to walk, and I got stung by a bee, and my body couldn't defend it. Been stung since, and nothing's really happened. But at that point in time, my body, I mean, I almost died. Uh, okay, well, let's look at this. Similar, if less broadly catastrophic accidents occur in hospitals with frightening regularity every night, a 2004 Work Hours Health and Safety Group study at Harvard, overseen by Charles Cesar and his research team, found that medical interns working 24-hour shifts made 36% more medical errors than those working 16-hour shifts, and 5 times the number of diagnostic errors. Interns working 24-hour shifts also had a 61% greater risk of stabbing themselves with a needle or scalpel, almost twice the risk of crashing their cars when they drove home, and 5 times the risk of a near miss accident. Well, it kind of goes to makes you think. These are the people working at the hospital. Like, wouldn't they be the ones to know that working 24-hour shifts is not a smart idea? Right? Sleep deprivation. Like, yeah, I understand this. I'm thinking that they're talking about, well, there you go. I even said I was up for 24 hours and my immune system was basically shot. Here you go. These people are on 26 or 24-hour shifts and 16 hours, okay. Because then that's an 8 hours you can sleep and then you're right back up. 6 hours of sleep. But it doesn't give you much time to eat. But the 24-hour shifts, that's illogical. So powerful are the body's natural rhythms that it's virtually impossible to fully adjust to working at night and sleeping during the day. Ours is the only species, writes Jennifer Ackerman, in sex, eat, sleep, drink, dream, that lights up its biological night, that overrides its own rhythms, crosses time zones, and works and sleeps at times that run counter to its internal clocks. We ignore what our clocks remember at our own peril. As just one example, shift workers who have no choice but to sleep in the daytime get an average of 3 to 4 hours a sleep less sleep than the rest of us and sleep less deeply. We'll go into more sleep. That was very interesting. What does this feel in the pulse? I like this little picture right here. Yeah, there you go. Enough time for you to screenshot it. So right there, I don't know. We'll look at that. That was pretty interesting. Might read a little bit more. Not really quite sure, but nonetheless, it was pretty interesting.